Here's a pane of my workspace. Here are my note cards. College. It's what a lot of people's goal is when they're young, and I know it was definitely mine. And I wanted to be able to come to college and experience everything it had to offer. And I got to do this for the majority of my freshman year, until around March of 2020, when COVID-19 started to spread across the nation and caused everything to have to close, including colleges, so that we could slow the spread and stop COVID-19. Now, unfortunately, that didn't happen how we all wanted it, and we're still dealing with COVID-19 right now, and it's put a big hindrance on this fall semester for a lot of students, including myself. One student, Anthony Bellotti, a 20-year-old who was interviewed by CNBC in September, he actually stated, "I feel like I'm teaching myself the material, and every day is a new frustration." He also stated that he doesn't feel like he's getting the same one-on-one time with his professor that he normally would in a traditional setting class. Now, I know that I've felt this way a few times throughout the semester dealing with these online classes, which is why today I'm going to talk about how COVID-19 has changed college as we know it, and how colleges really should change their tuition prices to help better reflect how college is different for all its students this year. So first I'll tell you a little bit about how college has changed since last March. And the main thing would have to be that all classes are either online or hybrid, and most of them now are online completely. Now, online classes are great in theory, but in practice, they're not the best. And according to Eric Bettinger and other authors at Harvard, in 2019 stated that online courses will worsen your GPA by 0.44%. And if you take any classes after you take an online course, your GPA in that class will be, on average, 0.15% worse than it normally would be. Which basically means that if you were to take a class in a traditional setting and get a B, if you were to take that exact same class and online, you would most likely end up getting a C in the class. And other things that have changed due to COVID-19 would have to be the amenities. Such as here at Ball State, the rec center has to close earlier and open later so that they can have time to keep everything sanitized for its students, which isn't the worst thing, but it definitely is a hindrance on some students. Another thing that has changed would have to be the dorms, because now this semester all the students are having to stay socially distant on their floors to help keep down any spread of any virus or anything such as that, which could really put a damper on your dorm life experience, which is why some students have actually chosen to take a different route this year, and that route would have to be a gap year. And Ella Needler, a senior at Washington State University, she was interviewed by her employer, the St. Louis Federal Reserve, in March of 2020, and she stated, "It's just not what I'm used to, and I noticed last spring I wasn't as focused or as interested in the material, and I wasn't learning as easily," which is really understandable, which is why this year she chose to take a gap year and not deal with any of these COVID-19 regulations. So now that we know how COVID-19 has changed colleges, you may be asking yourself, has these changes really been enough for colleges to change their tuition as a whole? Well, according to thecollegedata.com, the average tuition price is $26,820, and this includes room and board, tuition, and all the other fees that come with college. So if we assume that this year you were living on campus, you may come to realize that the room and board fee really isn't worth the same as it was in previous years, and the reason is all these new COVID-19 regulations, such as to stay socially distanced. And actually here at Ball State, at the beginning of the year, any student that was living in the residence halls couldn't have anybody in their room except their roommate, which really could lead to things such as loneliness, which isn't good. And according to Cambridge University, Loneliness in young adults actually can lead to a lot of mental health problems, such as depression, and nobody wants any of that. Another thing that $26,820 it covers is your different fees that you might have to deal with, which the fees are supposed to cover your different amenities, such as the rec center, like we already talked about, but it also covers the dining facilities and any other extracurricular activities that you might do on campus. But one thing that hasn't changed is the prices of these fees. And actually, when you go look at the Ball State frequently asked questions about COVID-19, it states that the fees will not be changed or lowered for any reason due to COVID-19 this semester or the following semester, which really doesn't seem right considering what we're paying for in those fees isn't really what we're getting this year anymore. So as you can see, the transition from previous years to now has been really rough on a lot of college students, which is why I feel that colleges should really put some more consideration into changing their tuition in the coming years. So in conclusion, COVID-19 has been a huge factor in how college students have had to live their lives this semester, and it will be in the foreseeable future. With that said though, colleges haven't changed any of their tuition prices, which doesn't seem fair considering all the changes that have had to happen to keep colleges open during these COVID-19 times. Now I know, unfortunately, that you can't change the prices of this semester, but hopefully, if we band together and, start a petition or something, we can get colleges to change their tuition into the following years and following semester and years, so that by the end of it, maybe we can get through this unprecedented time with a little bit lower tuition. And here's a pan of my workspace.